The Eagles were active yesterday, signing a couple new fringe players to their roster. As we inch closer to the start of the draft, we start to take shape on what the Eagles need to add. We're going to run our first mock draft. Sixers with a win last night, Flyers with a win last night, some good Phillies news, and of course, the mock draft. Trending in the AM, we're live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, as we are every single morning here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, whichever platform you're watching on, hit the buttons on your screen. Like, share, subscribe. It's free to do. Does not cost you a thing to support a local content creator. Please do it. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. On this Football Friday, it's Friday morning. It's March Madness, but it's Friday morning, guys. So we got lots to get into. And as we do every year leading up to the draft, we save Fridays for mock draft Fridays. So we're going to run a mock draft today where you guys get to pick the players. So if you're watching live, get set. If you're watching live, make sure you vote on the poll question of the day. If you're watching on replay, drop your comments and your thoughts. I will respond to them all. Today's poll question on YouTube: what is the most hopefully targeted position by Howie Roseman in round one of the draft? Tackle guard is option A, safety, edge, or tight end. Make sure you vote on the poll question. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel. It's back. I'll be back. Gotcha. Good morning to you, Adam. Glad to see you back for day two. Elephant in the room. What is up? Glad to see everybody in the chat all right. Flyers put in the work yesterday. Can't say that I stayed up for last night's game. We got the other Adam in the house as well. The OG. We got OG Adam. We got new Adam. Excuse me. It's going to be a rough one today. I think I got a little sore throat problem here. Sung Jae. Yeah, no one saw Sung Jae M shooting 7 under yesterday. It was not on my cards. K1 was not on your cards. I was watching some of that yesterday. I watched a little bit of Spieth's round yesterday. Yes, I was watching Valspar Championship instead of watching, March Madness yesterday, but that's just me. I'm a golf sicko in that sense. All right, so the Eagles continue to add to their roster, continue to add to their outside fringes, making a couple signings yesterday. Number one of them being Dameon Pierce, former promising running back with the Houston Texans, being added to the roster yesterday, which somebody would say, and some people will say, why would you add a running back? You got Tank, you got Shipley. It's a camp body. Maybe somebody that pushes Will Shipley. They also added Stone Smartt. Can't say I ever even heard of Stone Smartt. He's a tight end, most recently playing with the Jets last year, but the Chargers most of his career. Athletic former quarterback tight end. Again, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean we don't draft the tight end early in the draft. It's just another camp body to compete with Grant Calcaterra and whatnot. Good morning, Robert. How are we doing today? So, Eagles news is kind of quieting down now, right? Free agency is quieting down now, right? And this is just kind of where we get at this point of the offseason. We get the little slowdown, right? The main guys are off the table. You got to build the depth on your roster, and you've got to prepare for the draft, right? Obviously, the Eagles will always have the A.J. drama looming no matter what until it happens or it doesn't happen. But outside of the A.J. drama, this is the part where you start to evaluate. You start to think. You start to try to figure out what is needed most in the draft. Pierce might make the team. You never know. Look, Dameon Pierce has one clear clear path to this team behind Tank Bigsby and, of course, Saquon Barkley. And that's his ability to kick return. His first 2 years in the league, he was the Houston Texans' main kick returner. And he did a really damn good job of it. In 2023, his rookie year, averaged over 32 yards per return. In 2024, he averaged over 37.5 yards per return. So Dameon Pierce is a solid depth running back for sure. Shipley is out, sorry to say, but he's really only had one good game in his. Yeah, look, I don't get excited. There's some people in the chat, Adam, that get excited about backup running backs for some reason. I don't. And I'm not a Shipley guy at all. I mean, I see a little potential there, but whatever. But Dameon Pierce can definitely push him. And the Eagles have at times carried 4 running backs out of camp. So we'll see. Tried to warn me about what, Mad Chatter? Good morning, little G. I don't listen. What don't I listen about? What are you talking about? You were in good times with money. Now it's due, son. What the hell are you smoking today? No more AJ. We're staying away from it. When you read an Eagles free agent signing, I say who? Okay. Well, I mean, they have names. Doesn't your Buffalo Bills team have free agent signings for the 80th spot on the roster to make the practice squad? I'm pretty sure you guys got some who's too. Now, Dameon Pierce is not a who. We know who Dameon Pierce is. We do not know much about, I still have to look at his name every time because I don't even know who he is, Stone Smartt. Another special teamer, by the way. Another guy that's played a lot of special teams. Dameon Pierce will absolutely compete. He'll be one of those guys that on the first day of training camp, when special teams, this is the way, if you remember the movie Miracle, when they talk to the special teamers about making the roster. Dameon Pierce can make this team as a kick returner. No doubt about it. And he was very good at it. We have struggled with kick returning. Struggled mightily with kick returning over the last few years. So it is a definite, legit possibility that that's where he makes this roster. We know Shipley didn't do very good at it last year. We tried, 7, 8 different guys back there? Now, he didn't do much in the kick return department the last 2 years, but he had basically fallen out of that team's rotation period last year and wasn't used much of anything. I don't even think he was active for too many games last year. Bills lost to TMC. What? Who? Epineza to TMC has a sad what? I don't even know what you're talking about there, K1. That one's right over the head, right away this morning with that one right there. But as we continue to build out, we see where Howie is at where he's lost, right? We see what the needs of this Eagles team are. And the draft is coming. We're about 5 weeks from the draft, right? We got time to do about 4 or 5 mock drafts on this show before the NFL draft, right? And I know you don't draft on need. But I guess the biggest question is, do the Eagles absolutely need a day one impact player in the draft? And that basically goes to, will you draft a safety edge or an offensive lineman? Because the offensive lineman won't be day one. That's a long-term pick. You draft edge or safety, it's an immediate day one impact player. What's most important for the Eagles in the start of the draft? With that first pick, do you want the Eagles making sure they grab somebody that can start on the edge or at safety? Who, what? Again, you and your silly who's. Oh, man, it's going to be a rough one today. I want AJ gone for years. Why? You're not even an Eagles fan. You just don't want him because you wanted him in Buffalo. Unfortunately, you didn't. Your team didn't have the guts to wait out the AJ drama. Look, there's more AJ drama circulating. We're going to do our best to ignore it. Yeah, it's been a quiet second half of the week this week. We had a really big week on the channel last week. Good start to the week. Yesterday, Wednesday, today, slow start. It's March Madness. I'm not talking March Madness. I did watch a little of the end of the Ohio State game yesterday. It was a very entertaining end of the game yesterday. But this is March Madness season. I'm not a March Madness guy, so it's a little slow right now. I want Josh Allen traded so bad. What? Why would you want him traded? You want him on the Eagles? Like, I don't care. I don't care about the Bills. I don't care about Josh Allen. I don't care about all of them, any of them. Because you know what? They're not real competition for the Eagles. They're just not. Not the real competition for the Eagles at all. Oh, man. It sucks getting cold, getting us sick. Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it forming in my system right now. Anyway. So do you need an impact player on day one of the draft? And I'm here to say you kind of do. I'm here to say that the Eagles actually have to heavily consider not drafting one of these elite offensive linemen in the first round. That the Eagles are sitting there at a point where they need a guy that can make an impact at the safety or the edge position based off of where this roster is. The Super Bowl window is there. The Eagles are trying to get back. The Eagles are poised to get back. So they need to draft positions immediately that can help them. The Eagles did redo the deal of kicker Jake Elliott. Now, it's kind of a weird situation, the Jake Elliott situation. 2 years ago, we were talking about Jake Elliott arguably being the best kicker in Eagles history, overtaking David Akers. Overtaking David Akers. And then he's had last year and a half a pretty rough run. People talking about whether the Eagles are going to need to bring in competition for Jake Elliott. Well, yesterday's Jake Elliott news tells me that the Eagles are fully confident in Jake Elliott, that they reworked this contract. His base salary went from $6 million to $5 million for next year, but they fully guaranteed all $5 million, which they wouldn't do if they were thinking of moving on from him. It did save like just about $250K in cap space. Flyers with a big win last night. Didn't close the gap. Still 6 points back, Anthony. Flyers with a big win last night, 4-3, I think it was. Sixers with a win last night. The Phillies looked good yesterday again. Lots of great stuff yesterday with the Philly sports teams. I think they need a day one starter on the O-line. Well, that tells me, Elephant, that you don't think that one of those guys is going to be healthy to start the year. Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. If that's the case, I agree with you. But if you think the 5 guys are going to start day one, you need to move on. Hornets, huge win. Cool for the Hornets. Phil's struggling. Dude, my throat hurts. I'm coughing. I have avoided catching whatever my wife's had for the last 4 weeks. I think I got it finally. I do. I thought about turning it in already. Here's another. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, because the one from yesterday got sent back. Oh, did it? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. No wonder I didn't see what YouTube owes me jumped that much yesterday. No, Phil, they are now 5 points out of the playoffs. They are 5 points behind the Blue Jackets. Maybe my math was a little off this morning. I tried to redo the math for you, so 5. So they cleared 1 spot. All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, don't worry, Robert. No Maddie B on this channel. Just me. I think there's a chance our original O-line starts the season, but the fact isn't definite, sets up immediate need for me. And that's fair. And I think that's a fair thought process. I feel that's a fair comment. And I understand it, Elephant in the Room. I truly do. And I know a lot of people feel that way, and Howie may feel that way. You also got to understand some of these guys might not fit the right system. I just think you can get somebody in round 2 or 3 that could be developed and can spot start on the offensive line. Landon Dickerson was a second rounder. Cam Jurgens was a second or third rounder, right? I don't know if you need to go out and draft that offensive lineman right away. You need somebody that's going to play the edge in week 1. You need somebody that can start at safety opposite of Drew McCuba week 1. So to me, those are the 2 top positions with round 1. Not tight end, not wide receiver. I would be okay with edge too. First off, you can never have too many edges, right, Elephant in the Room? We know the Eagles have struggled on the edge in the depth department the last few years. Howie has had a scramble the last couple years, right? For whatever reason it may be. Howie's got to be targeting one of those guys. They were 8 out a week ago, so they are closing the gap, the Flyers. Hey, good. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I want the Flyers to make that playoff run. Just getting in. Getting back in the playoff standings and getting in, even if even if they get swept out in round one, I don't care. I want them getting that playoff experience so that next year those guys have a taste of playoff hockey in them, right? It's very, very important to get that taste. I would have liked to see them sign Mackey, but I don't see that happen anymore. Look, you're not going to see the Philadelphia Eagles make any more signings, basically, other than these kind of stone smart moves. They're filling out the outer edges of their roster. The rest of their roster will be filled out in the draft. And then maybe in a trade later on down the line. Before it becomes some Tamiflu. I took some Robitussin for the throat. I got some cold medicine upstairs. I'll start pounding that down. Lots of tea. I'll be good. I don't get really that sick that often. My wife is, over the last 6 to 7 weeks, we think she had COVID, a bad strain of the flu. She's got something viral in her throat right now. It's not been good. But somehow I avoid it all. I do a good job of that, but it's catching. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up coughing a little bit. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. I can just feel it tingling right there. Who did I sign? I didn't sign anybody because I'm not a GM of a football team. So I signed nobody. Dameon Pierce and Stone Smartt were signed by the Eagles yesterday, okay? They're your names. I've said it 3 times. I'll say it a 4th time for you. Theraflu, that shit, my guy, yeah. Yeah, look, I go with what I got in the house right now. I don't have that in the house right now, but I don't think I got the flu. It's just a little cough. The flu, I don't feel the body drag. I don't feel the upset stomach or the headache or the head cold. I just got the throat. I don't know what you're doing today. I don't know why you're trying to torture me today, TMC. Today's not the day to torture me, okay? Today's the day to just help me through, right? That's what you got to do. You got to help me through. All right, here we go. We're going to put the mock draft up on the screen. Let me get to the screen here. All right, let's close out all these pop-ups and things like that. All right, there we go. All right, there's our mock draft situation. First and foremost. Exactly. I appreciate that. I could have called it quits today. I could have skipped today. I actually woke up thinking about it. See, which one do we like this? We'll go with that one there. Thought about skipping, but I promised a mock draft, so we're going to do a mock draft. We might not go a full 90 minutes today. I will say that. All this talking with my sore throat is probably not a good idea, but we'll give it our best shot. So here's the mock draft board. Now, as that's been said, it is not the strongest of draft class. We all know Fernando Mendoza is going to go number 1 overall. But realistically speaking, this could go anywhere, the rest of this draft. You know, you got linemen all over this board, wide receivers, running backs, linebackers, so much. So much. But the talk is constant that this draft class is weak. Hot take, Mendoza going number 1, right? That's a big shock right there, right? When I feel bad for Mendoza having to go to the Raiders, right? Although they have had a good off season, getting Linderbaum and getting Linderbaum and getting Nakobe Dean was a good start for the rebirth of that team. AJ Brown, what? Doki. I'm doing my best. I will. I'm going to rest up all weekend long. Stop. Yeah. Look, we're moving on from AJ today. We're moving on from AJ. We've been moving on for 2 days. So we're going to restart. We're going to resume this draft. We're just going to pause it. We'll pause it there with 16. All right. Let's just say, see, here we go. For anybody, by the way, that's voting tight end in the first round, look where Kenyon Sadiq goes, number 15 here. This is very, very common in the running of mock drafts. Everybody wants the Eagles to get the tight end of the future in the first round. It's not going to happen. I have run this mock draft simulator dozens of times, and I think 1% of the time Kenyon Sadiq is there for the Eagles. So we got to understand he is not going to be there for the Eagles, okay? It's just not going to happen. Monroe Freeling, he went 9th here. He's a guy that falls to the Eagles sometimes and sometimes does not. I know some people like the Georgia Bulldogs lineman there, but he most likely will not be there for the Eagles. All right, we'll resume this draft here. All right, we're at the Eagles. We're doing no trades today, by the way. Wow, we got somebody, Sonny Styles from Ohio State, falling to the Eagles. But you got offensive tackle, Spencer Fanu. You've got Ione, Vega Ione, who we talked about yesterday, was scheduled at guard. But you also got Akeem Mesidor, edge. You've got Blake Miller. This draft, this mock, falling to the Eagles the way it did, man, there's some exciting names on the board here at this point. But this falls in. Do you take somebody like the guard, like the tackle, at this spot that will not start day one? Let's see. This edge, this Akeem guy, this edge guy, be a 25-year-old rookie. You see, we don't need a 25-year-old rookie in this spot either, right? You know, there are names here. T.J. Parker, you know, be a reach at 23, but he's a guy I could see being on the Eagles. The worst thing about getting sick is you can't drink any bourbon until you recover. Who said that? I actually don't have any bourbon in my house right now. Pick the most unpronounceable guy. Yeah, that would be your vote on the draft. This is for you guys. You guys, I'm waiting for 4 or 5 people to comment who they want in this spot. And then I'll pick the most commonly answered name in this spot. No, I do too. That is for sure. We got another random name. I don't care what you need, as long as you hit the like button and you're subscribed. The rest don't matter to me. Go edge. I feel like that's what they're going to go. Well, that's one vote for the edge. Do I take the reach at Parker at edge, or do I go for the 25-year-old rookie at edge, which is just as bad? I don't know. I don't know if you'll be. You might be alone in the chat. This is not me making the selection. This is you guys making the selection. I'm going to leave this up here for a few minutes. I would rather select an edge in this situation. I don't think Sonny Styles would fall to the Eagles. Is he more of an inside linebacker? I'm starting to make Styles is the true top off-ball linebacker. Potential edge convert, former safety, switch to linebacker, 6 sacks, pass breakups. There's a guy that could drop into coverage here. I don't know how this guy is dropping to the Eagles at this point, but for the guys that say Jahad Campbell ain't it, but also for the guys that say we need an edge, is this guy here? Is this Sonny Styles a guy that can play outside? Or the player with the best A1C metrics? Oh, my God. Get rock and rye and to get rid of the cough, yeah. I'm waiting for you guys to make the pick. Do we take the best name on the board in Sonny Styles at this spot? I'm just curious what the trade offers were. We're not doing trades today. Next week we'll do trades. It's not a horrible trade offer there. 34 and 65, yeah, that's not bad. 24, drop back 1 and upgrade that. There's some solid offers there as well. What do we go with this pick? I feel like this linebacker is an outside linebacker and somebody that we have to consider here. But also, Ione is somebody that is pretty damn elite, and we've already scheduled our top 30 visit with. Go get the impactful edge. I mean, that's 1 vote for the edge, 2 votes for the edge. At 6'4", I love he's built and could be sent down and backed out of coverage. It looks like from the write-up, he is a guy that would fit Fangio's system with the ability to drop into coverage, which you want. It also a guy that played safety at one point, so you know he has versatility, which the Eagles love. I'm feeling this Sonny Styles is the right pick. Now, again, this is very unrealistic because he's rated on PFN, the number 6 player in the draft. Why did he fall here to the Eagles? I've never even seen his name fall to the Eagles yet. Where you draft, you can get good O-line player. He needs to be 6'6", 7. You definitely need big offensive linemen in this day and age. That is for sure. All right, we're going edge. We're taking Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State, with the first pick in the Eagles draft. Here we go to 54 with our next pick. Oh, A.J. Hawkley, the starting safety right there. There's no write-up on him? No write-up on him. But very physical ball-hawking safety here, for sure. A.J. Hawkley is available. Another edge rusher, wide receiver, defensive tackle. Sam Heck is center, but he's got some guard in him as well, Sam Heck, from what I read. Skylar Bell's a popular wide receiver name. Another edge down there. I think we're looking at safety. I think we definitely went Sonny. If Styles is there, you take him, which that's what we went. We went Sonny Styles with our first pick. I had him mocked to the Giants first round. Yeah, Sonny Styles. Yeah, I'm not a huge draft expert. Give me Bernard, wide receiver out of Alabama. What was his measurables? 6 foot 209. Oh, not overly twitchy. In addition, 3-level value. Yes. Okay. I have read up on this guy a little bit here. So we got one vote for a wide receiver. Okay. And we got, my vote would have been to AJ here, but there's other safeties that can come later in the draft. You got Hawley, the safety is the best player available and a need. That's kind of like the perfect thing, right? The perfect storm, right? Best player available and it's a need. I mean, it's hard to argue in that situation, right? In a perfect world, Howie would trade A.J. Brown for a first and second round pick. Howie would then flip those picks to move up for Kenyon Sadiq. I don't think that's a perfect world. Kenyon Sadiq is not a perfect world situation, in my opinion. I don't. We got one vote for wide receiver. We've got 2 votes for the safety here in this situation. We're going once. We're going twice. We're not sold yet. I'm going to leave this open. Because I don't think Mista's perfect world scenario is the perfect world. Going tight end in the first round, it would be totally off Howie's MO, right? Howie's style of doing business, right? But on the flip side, it also just, how often do first round tight ends really, really work out value return-wise? Are tight ends important enough to the success of a football team to leverage a first? You're basically trading A.J. Brown for Kenyon Sadiq. Is that really, truly the return you want? We got 3 for safety and 1 for wide receiver. I'm taking for granted that A.J. is gone. When I do mock drafts, I kind of think that way too, K1, for sure. I kind of have that same vibe going as well, K1, when I'm running these. I don't know if I go wide receiver here in this situation, though. Not with all the tight ends we just brought in. Sorry, but it's not happening. Yeah, but see, okay. See, to counter that, Adam 2, only one of those tight ends is really a lock to make the team in Dallas Goedert. Calcaterra is a quick and easy cut. Johnny Munt is just a blocker, 3rd tight end. Stone Smartt is more of a practice squatter than an actual player. So I do think they invest in tight end at some point in this draft. I just don't think it's worth moving A.J. Brown to get him, basically trading A.J. for Sadiq. To me, I think that's a reach. Sign that bum from Atlanta. Who? The tight end? He was franchise tagged, Kyle Pitts, so you can't sign him. He's not a free agent. Maybe Hurts can get something out of him. Pitts, no. They should take offensive lineman first round. We went with an outside edge rushing linebacker, another like edge/linebacker hybrid. That a name, Stone Smartt? That is his name listed on Pro Football Reference. It's not a nickname. It's Stone Cole. That's even funnier. I didn't even know his middle name. Stone Cole, Cole, Smart. So I bet you he got called Stone Cold a lot growing up. Stone Cold Smartt. I love it. I love it. I feel like they will run 3 personnel with tight ends a lot like the Rams do, 2 to block and 1 off. That you got to also think about Sean Mannion and this coaching staff and where they're coming from and what their philosophies are going to be, Adam. And that's fair, and I think that's very important. We don't know what this offense will look like, but we definitely need to improve the tight end position to do that. If you want that 3 personnel, you want multiple tight ends on the field. You don't want Calcaterra, Munt, and Goedert all on the field at the same time. That's not good, right? Not good enough. I do dig the middle name on Stone Smartt. I didn't even know that till literally just now. Oh, I'm digging that, all right. Absolutely dig these freaking pop-ups on this thing. Are we in agreement? Are we taking A.J. Hawkey or Hawkey from LSU here, or are we going with Bernard? It's Hawkey or Bernard. That's the question. That's what it comes down to. Safety, wide receiver here. What were the trade proposals? Dropping down 1 and getting a 3rd next year. That's a really good trade too. But we're not going to do that. We're sticking to the no trade rule today. Okay, that's what we're sticking to today. Next week we will allow trades potentially. Anyway. Oh, we got another vote. See, this is why I don't make these rush things. Now we're 3-2. 3 for the safety, 2 for the wide receiver. Adam 1 feeling like K1 that A.J. Brown's going to be gone and you're going to need a wide receiver. Stone Smart's middle name is Cole. So it's Stone Cole Smartt, which sounds an awful, awful lot like Stone Cold Smartt. Just so you know, Cole. So we're back. So we got 4 for the safety, 2 for the wide receiver with the 2nd round pick. And Marshawn, if you're just joining, our 1st round pick was an off-ball edge hybrid linebacker from Ohio State, Sonny Styles, who fell shockingly to us. I don't think he does, but in today's experiment, he did. So that's what that is. So we've got an edge in that 1st pick, a guy that used to be a safety, so could do a lot of very good Vic Fangio things. Now do you go safety here? There's no offensive lineman really I would draft in this spot. Maybe Sam Heck, but that's a barely the crown over guy. I'm not going to reach that far at this spot. I don't know. I wasn't taking AJ being traded into consideration. You know, I get we don't want to talk about AJ, but that's got to be a thought process. Now, Howie Roseman has to go into the draft. Howie Roseman knows whether he's trading him or not, or at least going to try post June 1st, right? What Howie does in this spot, not what we do, what Howie does would dictate what's happening on June 1st. I got to make it easy, man. I got to make it easy. Eagles are the team that will give Diggs a chance. Is Diggs available? Interesting. Trade AJ, bring in Diggs. I know he's a problem. 14 people watching. Guys, if you have not, we got the 17 people watching. If you have not, hit the like button. It's free to do. I guarantee you, if I check my phone, we do not have 17 people liked yet. No, there's only 14 likes still. Hit the like button. It's free to do. Share this out. Subscribe if you have not. I think Howie values wide receiver more than safety. I agree. So now we got another vote for wide receiver. You guys are getting closer and closer to me having Bernard from Alabama as the selection here. Very solid pro, 6 foot, 209. Densely built wide receiver with great baseline, explosion and agility. Not overly twitchy, more of a zone beater, right? Functional route tree, good stem IQ. Strong hands over the middle. Rack threat. 3-level value here. Strong blocker. Strong hands. Contact balance. A little light on the instincts. I think it's an interesting selection potentially here. I do. We don't win another Super Bowl without AJ. It's just not happening. AJ isn't going anywhere without 2 first-round picks. Look, I think there's a chance. Does it happen? I don't know. And I don't want to talk about it, but I also, when you think about the draft, you have to think about it. I think he beat up his chef and had tiny bags of pink. Yeah, the pink stuff. Yeah, the pink stuff. Howie loves polysyllable players. Stop. He just likes to tease me. Howie isn't into letting great players walk for nothing. I agree. And it's going to take a first and a second. I do dig. They upgrade. This was not at the start of the draft process or after the season. These graphs were not on this. They totally updated in the last week the player profile page for these guys. More write-ups, more information, and these spider graphs. I love them. Love these things big time. Really, really helps put things into perspective. I'm a visual guy like that. I dig the spider graphs as well, for sure. NFL trade rumors, the site I like says 0 chance. Not moved. Gotcha. No. Stop. All right. Final calls. Wide receiver or safety with our second pick here. I'm writing off the edge because we already took one. Are we going Bernard or Hawkey? They're your choices. I'm only letting you choose from those two. Is Jennings? So I thought Jennings signed somewhere, to be brutally honest with you, man, Chatter. Not the joke. I thought I saw him earlier this week sign somewhere. Maybe it was just a rumor. I'm not positive on that. Safety or wide receiver? Final call. Going once. Right now, it's pretty much tied. Me, if I had a vote, which I do not have a vote in this scenario, I would go safety. But I am leaving it to the people. I'm leaving it up to you guys on what we do here. So, make the final call. The next comment, wide receiver or safety, the next one is the one I will take. Joey Bosa stinks, but better than anything you have. Yeah, don't you guys have both Bosas together now? Won't take a first and second round pick for Sadiq. A first and early fourth will get it done. Plus, Howie would still have his first to draft a lineman. I know what you're talking about, mister. I just don't think that is what they should do. I don't think that the value of trading AJ and getting a first and second, then using that first and one of our fours to move up and get Sadiq. So basically, trading AJ for Sadiq, I just don't think it's that pick you get for AJ Brown, that top pick, it's going to have to be an edge or something really big. It's going to have to be. Bosa D's nuts, yeah. Njoku is available and good. We're not signing Njoku. I don't understand the hype for Njoku. The guy is even more oft injured than Dallas Goedert. All right, I said the next person that commented one of those names wins. K1's the winner. K1 says give you the wide receiver. So wide receiver with pick 2 it is. All right, we are now up on 68. We have 2 third-round picks, this one and then 98. So here's the thing. You went there, and now you've got Skylar Bell could have been the play, but you're not drafting 2 wide receivers in a row. You're just not going to do that, okay? And this guy on the spider chart, explosiveness, agility, instinct, a little lesser, but a guy that we could have taken. We got another edge, running back. We still need safety. There's your Oscar Delp at 68, could go. There's your tight end, okay? Justin Jolly, another name I know a lot of Eagles fans. Lewis Moore, Indiana safety. There are a lot of names here that we could go with. Cam Jordan is a solution. I actually heard that. What's he, like 37 now, Cam Jordan? Round 3, let's go. We got 2 third-round picks on the board here. What's up, Bruce? How you doing? Good morning. By the way, Phillies news. Zack Wheeler on Monday will be pitching in a minor league baseball game. Zack Wheeler is on the mend. Zack Wheeler is on the return. Reddick would be my choice. No, the Eagles will not bring Reddick back. 0 chance of that. Too much of a locker room issue the last time he was here. And has massively, massively fallen off skill set wise. So yeah, that is a for sure not happening thing. Eagles spent much of last season trying to find a solution at their second outside corner spot. They found their answer. They have. Yeah, Clowney's okay still, but Clowney just gives me bad vibes because of the hit on Carson Wentz. So I'd have trouble cheering for him. I originally thought June 1st. Then I'm like, all right, May 1st. Now we might see by the last week in April that Zack Wheeler's back on the mound for the Phillies. It's a legit possibility, for sure. I was just typing to tell you about Wheeler that I feel is the best news. Just the fact that he's even able at this point to even go into a game, minor league or for the big club. It's a huge step forward. No, Jennings, the mullet dunker, was not Freddie. For Freddie, since he's just getting here, let's do a restart here. We got lucky. Sonny Styles, edge, outside linebacker, safety, a perfect hybrid for a Vic Fangio system. Fell all the way to us at 23, so we selected him. And then we went with A.J. Brown's eventual replacement in Bernard at wide receiver with our second pick. We are not accepting trades today. So we've addressed edge. We've addressed wide receiver, assuming that Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown will not be here. We still need safety. We still need tight end. We still need lineman depth. We need a lot, but that is where we are. Wentz sounds like Clowney did you a favor. Stop. Oh, wait, we're in round 3. Yeah, we are into round 3 now. But he was not even on the board in round 2. Let me go back here and see draft results. Where did Dunker go? He was on the board. We skipped over. Jennings Dunker was there. Okay? He was there. He went the very next pick after we selected the wide receiver. But you weren't here to vote. It's a fan vote. You had to get in to vote. We are good at cornerback right now. Bernard is a trash panda. What? A trash panda? I don't even get that reference. So what do we do with our next pick? In theory, let's see, Cassius Howell at edge. I've read this guy. Had a great 23, a bad 24, and a great 25. Double dip at edge. I don't know. Oscar Delp is a guy that a lot of people mock to the Eagles. Not flashy numbers, but a flashy skill set. Blocking, explosiveness, and stuff like that. Oscar Delp's a guy that should have a great career in the NFL, for sure. Justin Jolly is another name. I love these spider charts. Again, instincts, hands, and stuff like that. A good play. Lewis Moore's the top safety on the board. Ball skills. Oh, look at these numbers here. Hip fluidity. We know Nooms loves hip fluidity in his players. Agility, twitch, technique. All very good things. So do you go safety? Do you go tight end? Do you go edge again? What do we do? Solution for TMC. Round 1 offensive line outside. Yeah, I hear you. That's not where the vote went. I'm going with what you guys want. Okay. Can you say who you picked for Valspar? Yeah, I didn't have a great day. Fitzpatrick is one of my plays, and he's doing pretty well. Thagala sucks. Rio Hisatsune, Victor Hovland, and Patrick Rogers are all in contention too. So who doesn't love hip fluidity? I mean, who doesn't? Hip fluidity is important, right? Thomas didn't play so good yesterday, but I feel, he'll bounce back probably today for sure. We got the first vote for Bell, Skylar Bell. So we're double dipping, according to Adam, at wide receiver. Adam, you really want to go wide receiver back-to-back picks, rounds 2 and 3? Ooh, I don't think that'll be a popular choice in the chat. There were 0 tournament games of interest yesterday. Yeah, I didn't watch any. Well, I watched a few minutes. The end of the Ohio State VCU game, watched the final minute and a half of that. Tied, up 2, tied, up 3, tied, up 2. It was a hell of an end of the game. Got to have that hip fluidity. I mean, early on in the pick, I would probably reach down for the safety, right? That would be me. But that's a far down the board. Where was he? Where's the safety? That's great at the 80th best player. And you're sitting here at pick 68. Would he be there at 98? Probably not. Only receivers in this draft that can place AJ is Tyson, Lemon, and Tate. They're all gone in the first. Wide receiver won't be drafted until maybe round 3 or 4. Well, unfortunately, we have already drafted. Love my hip fluidity. Yeah, exactly. Mike Washington is a bit of a steal here. The running back, Do we really? We're not drafting a running back in the third round though. Edge bro. So we've already got. So Keith, you're just jumping in. I want as more and more people tune in late. I want to put this up there. This is just the way it's gone. I'm not picking. The chat is picking. Sonny Styles could play that edge role for the Eagles already. So we've got technically an edge already. We've got technically a wide receiver already. But I'm okay with double dipping at edge. I wouldn't double dip like Adam said at wide receiver, but I would double dip at edge if I had to. Go big balls and draft the quarterback. Stop. Stop. We're set at quarterback. We've got Andy Dalton. Come on. No edge after pick 9 in draft will not be S. I mean, it's a risk that you take. For sure. It is. We don't have a lineman yet added to this roster in this mock. We do not have a tight end yet in this draft mock. I want to see Styles is more than an off ball. Yeah, we're just going. I honestly, before today's mock draft, Keith, didn't know about him because he's mocked in the top 10 most of the time. He fell, so I did a quick read up on him on the air live, and basically he struck me as a guy that could play everywhere, a former safety. So I think his versatility would match what Vic Fangio likes. So I was in agreement when everybody in the chat said pick him. So, yeah. My hip fluidity sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies. That you're lucky if that's how it sounds. Shipley was an absolute waste of a pick. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We got the red rifle. I mean, if Flacco can be Renaissance man, of course, hopefully, yeah, exactly. Hopefully we don't have to. If we got Styles, Campbell is mixing Gatorade. That's possible. That's possible. I know your thoughts on him, and you know my thoughts on him. I'm just saying that the write-up on Styles says he could move to edge very easily and play, on the outside at linebacker. And being a former safety, he knows how to drop into coverage and stuff like that, which is a Vic Fangio, trait. Maybe they go like some kind of 3-3. Maybe you see Campbell, Styles, Bond all on the field at the same time. Maybe. I don't know. Just we're winging it here. So based off what we had, I'm guessing, Edge, you want Gabe here at this pick, right? Motor, play strength, power. Not the greatest at leverage for this spot. But if you want Gabe or you want Hal, put your vote in. The only vote at this spot so far has been from Adam for Skylar Bell, which we're not drafting. I'm not allowing back-to-back wide receivers to be taken. I am gatekeeping Adam on that one, for sure. But we need some more votes before we can move on to the next pick of this draft. Then we're going to have to rapid fire. We're going to have to rapid fire once we get through a certain level of this draft. Well, that's where we're at so far. I hate these damn commercial pop-ups on this freaking site. So far, the poll question, obviously, tackle guard is winning the vote in round 1. And we have not even drafted an offensive lineman. Gabe is a solid pick. Yeah, Gabe's a solid pick. Well, who's even the best lineman available? We got a center here. Impact starter in zone-oriented schemes, which is something that we're probably going to be doing more of. We don't have a spider chart on this guy, though. How am I supposed to know without the spider chart? Got hooked on those spider charts. What's up, Rick? How we doing today? Yeah, look, they cut it to 5 points, the Flyers. Another win for the Flyers last night, which was just very good. Love to see it. Love to see the Flyers keep advancing. I want that playoff experience for them. No doubt about it. What does Rick want in this spot of the draft? We've already drafted a linebacker edge hybrid and a wide receiver so far. We need tight end. We need more edge. We need safety. We need line help. That's good. That's good. We watched Weapons last night, a movie on, watched it on HBO Max last night. Another award-winning movie. It was really freaking creepy and really, really good. So you know what? Then I crashed by 10 o'clock. So it looks like we're probably going Gabe Jackass. Is it Jackass? Is it Gabe Jackass? Is that his name? With this next pick. That seems to be where we're leaning. Clemson offensive tackle Blake Miller is not available here in the third round. Okay. I don't even know where he went in the draft, but I could find out. Let's see. Go up to round 1. Where did Blake Miller go? He went 29 this draft. So yeah. He would have been on the board, but you weren't here to vote. So it's a voting process here. You got to be here for it. But Weapons was awesome, especially for a modern day film. I was on the edge of my seat for that one last night. Best shows right now this season of Tulsa on Paramount. Still have never watched that. Well, you weren't here to make that vote, Rick. So, you got to go with what the people say. You weren't here. So we're going to do this every Friday till the draft. So you better be here next Friday for it. I'm a man of the people. Is Rutledge still on the board? I do not think so, but we will check. RUT. Rutledge is not on the board. He's gone. No, he went one pick before. See, it's right over here. He literally one spot before the Eagles. He went at 67. So Rutledge is not available. Might drop a few bucks on the Flyers to make the playoffs. Yesterday was a 10-1. Today it's 9-1. They're 8-3-1. Maybe. It's not the worst. 10-1, 9-1. That's good odds right there. Only 5 points back. Yeah, I missed that too. Just missed that too, K1. I'm sitting there typing his name in, and his name's right there on the board. All right, so it looks like we're going edge rusher here with Gabe Jackass with the next pick. Now let's see, at 98, what is on the board next? 98. Best lineman, center from Duke. Michael Trigg, tight end. We don't need cornerbacks, and we're not taking a defensive tackle. We're not taking a running back or wide receiver here. So this is what we got on the board. You got a couple centers. You got a tight end. Bud Clark's the best safety. Another guard from Boise State. LJ Overton, edge, Alabama. We've already drafted that. So now we're at another spot here in the draft. Barry, who will hopefully be available. Let's look him up. Barry is not available at this point, so that's a no. No Barry here. Any what? Stop. Flyers are boring when they don't have good scores. Every time I watch, they can't get the puck in the net. Yeah, I mean hockey in general is boring when there's no scoring. Nobody likes a defensive battle in hockey, obviously. Not what people like, but it is what it is. So where are we going with our next pick in this draft? Personally, I don't even know who Michael Trigg is. Let's look him up real quick. Does he have a flow chart? He does. Instincts, agility, hands, explosiveness, all important. 6'3", 250, long arms, spidery frame. Not much of a blocking presence. It'll need to be improved. Trigg is somebody I'm looking at in this spot personally, if it was me. Let's see, Brian Parker, mid-round O-line prospect, played center, switching to tackle. Reads like a guard, though. Physical, powerful. Hand usage is low. This is probably who K1 wants because I can't pronounce his name. What's he got? Physical, power, core, and grip strength. Interesting. Some interesting candidates here. I can't watch Tulsa Kings because I don't have Paramount Plus. Halton. Who's Halton here? Let's see here. The defensive tackle, which I hate the idea of drafting defensive tackle either. Explosive, motor, powerful. Great pressure rate for a defensive tackle. Little small for a defensive tackle, but not the worst. Halton on the board. I mean, that's the first vote so far. Rick with the comment of the week, which was, I'm not even finding it. Forrester would have been good to have this year. Would be interested to know when both the Flyers and Sixers played and beat the Kings in the same day in the respective sports. Yeah, I don't know. That's somebody. That's for research. That's for the research department to do. Spring for Paramount for a month, or set up a dummy email for a free trial and binge it. Tulsa King. Someday. There's too many other things that we've got to watch right now that are on our agenda. But I do want to watch it. I feel like I even know how it goes already because I've seen enough reels of it online. But yeah. We've only got one vote so far at this spot, and that's Grayson Halton. If I don't see another vote come in the next 2 or 3 minutes, then that will be what the pick is at this spot. And guys, while we're doing that, while we're waiting, there's still a lot of people that have not hit the like button yet. So make sure you hit that like button. It is free to do. Share, subscribe. If you have not, please hit those buttons. You refresh, see if we've gained any new today. Any new people today. No new people today. Not my strongest work today. I'm powering through for you people. Tackle guard still leading the poll as well at this point. So I think we're going to go cough drop here. Help soothe that throat a little bit more. All right. We're going once. We're going twice. We're going Grayson Halton with our second third-round pick. Let's see what we get here at pick 122 on the board. Pick 122. All right, we got a center. We got another edge. We got another linebacker. We still need a tight end. Dolan Bentley is the best tight end on the board. Sleeper of the class. Day 2, 6'4", 265. Blocking and agility. Not very good hands. Where's the safety? This is a name I love. And I know a lot of Eagles fans would love having this guy in Philly. The Penn State safety. Okay? Explosive. Processes decently. Zakee Wheatley. Personally, Zakee Wheatley here at 122 would be my vote. I watch it every single week with the wife, Memory of a Killer. Really thought I had it figured out, but it seems like I do not. Yesterday was only the third time the Flyers and Sixers both played the Kings in the same day. Yeah, who knew? Cool. So here's where we're at. Personally, I'm leaning towards safety. It's the key. Okay? Having edge, having tackle. Obviously, investing on the defense is important right now. That's what I would go with. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Is Wheatley the pick? I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I think it is. I think it should be. I think it should definitely be the pick, but what the hell happened on my side screen here? There we go. What other picks do we still have? A couple more there. Got it. No offensive line yet in this draft, which is also something that's very unlikely to happen at this point, that they would not have drafted one. But this is the way the board's falling, and this is the way it'll go. We're going the way it go. That's the thing with these mock drafts. You just never know how these boards are really going to truly shake out. There's no way to truly know until the day of the draft. And this early in the draft process, and who's getting interviewed and who's not, and who's being brought in for workouts and who's not. There's still so much that can go on, and that's so much that can change at this point. But Klein, I do not believe is available. I mean, we do need a tight end. I'm almost positive he went already. Yeah, he's way gone. I think he's an early third-round guy, not even a late third-round guy, Klein, right? Klein went, wow, he's way up here. Klein, Stower's there. Trotter. Where did Klein go? How high did I miss Klein's name? Klein's not a second-round talent. I must have missed Klein's name down here somewhere. Where did Klein go? How am I missing his name on here? Klein is not available at this point in the draft for sure. Howie will package one or both of those third-rounders to move up. Now, we're doing this one with no trades. I get it. But, yeah, Howie could move up at some point. Howie's going to wheel and deal a lot this draft process, as always, but maybe even more so than before. Because you take the best available, right? Best available is what you do. But best available at positions of need, you might have to move up to get. Calm down a bit. I'm back. Got extremely frustrated with some of the reaching I was reading. Hey, it's all opinion-based. That's what we do here. Everyone's opinion is warranted here. All right? We make sure everybody's opinion is heard. This is where we're at so far. We've got linebacker, wide receiver, edge, tackle. Personally, at this point, I'm looking at Wheatley, the safety. But you've got a cornerback who's a top 100 prospect, who's got size, agility, not great explosiveness or support. You've got edge more. You got linebacker more. You got positions here. You got players here that can be drafted. Let's see what you guys want. Curious who the Eagles will draft with the second-round pick they get for McKay. See, I don't think, Rick, that they get a draft pick this year for McKay. I really firmly believe that if and when they trade Tanner McKee, it will be for a 2027 draft pick. Noah Cates. Where did Noah Cates? I gotta. He's obviously not on the board anymore. So I can't look up his information because he's not on the board anymore. Let's see if I can find all these damn pop-ups. Yeah, I'm not even sure Noah Cates who he is at this point, to be brutally honest with you. Oh, Cates for the Flyers. So we're sitting here talking draft, and we're dropping Flyer stuff. Sitting here talking draft, and you expect a guy that watched like 2 total hours of Flyers hockey to know somebody that flies under the radar for the Flyers. Seriously. You can't mess with my mind like that, Nooms. You got to say Flyers in there, okay? You got to give me a reason to know when you're changing the topic like that, especially on days like today. Oh, this cough drop. Oh, the middle of it is burning me here. Hey, I've tried. I've tried to give the Flyers my attention. It's just very hard to do. Very hard to do. I'll be a bandwagon jumper when the Flyers make the playoffs. I will promise you that. I will promise I will do my best to even do a Flyers hockey playoff watch party when they get there. I'll try. You can't be changing the topics like that. Oh, man. Anyway, you guys better make up your mind or I'm going to make it up for you who we're drafting here at this spot. Okay? Y'all want mock drafts, then you make fun of the mock draft once I do it for you. I give you people what you want. And I can't get an answer from the crowd, from the peanut gallery. It is what it is. We might just fire through this really quickly here and wrap up early, since my throat is burning right now. Not pleasant. We'll just say that. We'll just use that word. Not pleasant right now. I saw a radar chart, so I didn't know what that. Yeah, look, I love it. I love it, Nooms. In the last, I don't even know what, week, they've decided to add to the PFF these little radar charts, these little spider charts, and I love it. That's the latest upgrade on their thing. It's an easy pick to take Wheatley here, Keith. I really think it is. And since Keith agrees with me on that, and me and Keith don't always see eye to eye, we'll make that pick for him right there. All right, our second fourth-round pick. Let's re-look here. We got linebacker. We got wide receiver, edge, tackle, safety. All right, is there a lineman here? Is Bo Stevens in play? Iowa guard. Physical, flexible. Awareness is decent. 6'5", 315. A 94.1 grade. Above average size and mass. Solid athlete. Ultra physical. Short arms. That's always a concern, right? So you got him there. You got more linebackers, more quarterbacks. I know everybody wants a quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier? No, not going to do that. I believe O-tackle should be our first-round pick, but with the upcoming trade of A.J. Brown, do you believe the Eagles should draft a wide receiver? Well, we did draft a wide receiver here in the second round, Rick, assuming that A.J. Brown will be gone, right? Will he be gone? I don't know. Will he be here? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But there's enough smoke. There's fire where there's enough smoke, right? There's a good chance he's not going to be here. 54.67%. So we went wide receiver in the second round. Not KC. He was not there. We went with Bernard, wide receiver from Alabama. His profile actually played really well for the Eagles right there. I mean, I'm already leaning that way to the guard, Keith. See if anybody else wants to throw anything else in there. I like KC. I think KC is going to be a good, quality wide receiver in the NFL. But now we go guard for Mr. Keith here. When will be our next pick? Will be 178. Nope, 153. Now we get a little more, what do we want to go with here? We've got one lineman. We've got an edge. We've attacked a lot of positions. St. Durant. We love drafting Penn Staters, right? 3 sacks. Yeah, what's some of his numbers here? No spider chart on this guy. Let's see. 6'1", 290. We can't be drafting another small defensive tackle. The Navy guy is super small. Another edge rusher. What's his size and metrics here? Decent grades. Decent, grading down here on this. Agility, balance, bend. All important. We could go with a cornerback. Lots of edges and cornerbacks available at this spot. Who did you mock draft the Eagles taking in the first round? We went with the linebacker. We've been over this like 3 times, Rick. Are you not paying attention, Rick? This is the way it's played out so far. Okay? Sonny Styles won't be there, but he was there in this experiment, so we went with the best player there, who could play on-ball, off-ball, or on-ball linebacker, outside, inside, could drop into coverage, could do a lot of things that Vic Fangio wants. We went with a wide receiver, an edge, a defensive tackle, a safety, and a guard. So we've got a well-rounded draft so far. It must not be good enough if they don't have it. Let's see who the best tight end is available at this point. Offense, tight end. So the best tight end available here with pick 153 would be this guy from Texas. He is 56 catches in 24, 2 scores. 6'4", 240. Isn't big, but he's quick, explosive. No spider chart. Strong hands, good catcher. Tight end might be the play there. You might have to go with the tight end. Well, that's not my fault. No chance the Eagles take a linebacker with their first pick. Exactly. But you can only do these mocks the way they fall. Okay? How they fall is what you go with. And if that guy's there, they probably would take him. Howie's a value in his head. If the value playing for this team exceeds the offered draft value, he stays. It's pretty simple why he highballed. Absolutely agree. And I think that's the case for anybody, right? Any trade that Howie makes ever, that's the case, okay? So I don't think there's anything, wrong with saying that. All right, we're going tight end here. Jack Endries, Texas tight end. Now we get into the part of the draft where it doesn't even really matter. We're at the back end of the draft. We don't know who these guys are. They're more reaches than anything else. There's not even an offensive line. Maybe take another safety, actually. Having two safeties wouldn't hurt. One to start, one to develop a little bit. We're pretty weak at that position anyway. Got another wide receiver. No write-up, but we got a spider chart. Explosive, agility, twitch. What's his size? Why don't this say his size? Oh, there it is. 5'11", 180. Linebackers all over the place. We got lots of options here. It just hasn't played out the way it probably will today on this mock draft. It'll play out much differently when, April 23rd rolls around. It'll probably play out differently next week when we do this. Next Friday. Because we're going to do this experiment again next Friday. What do we have left here? We got 2 picks left. Do we just go best player available, another wide receiver? 6'1", 224. 10 touchdowns in 2024. Interesting. Guy's actually a pretty solidly built wide receiver here. Getting another wide receiver at this spot. Yeah, at this part, you just pick anybody. I get it. AJ put some nasty tape out last season. Teams are divided on if what they're seeing from him is apathy or decline. I just say decline. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some validity to that as well. Did Reed Blankenship quote saying that Houston was the first place he actually felt wanted? Evan Ingray. Look, everybody's getting upset with Reed Blankenship's comments. I think people are reading too much into it. He loves Philly. He loved his time in Philly. But did Philly ever try to give him a big extension? No. Did Philly ever show him the money? Not really. Okay? I don't think you need to overreact to Reed Blankenship's comments. Frustration. Got to feed the army. I'm sure I'll see you later. Hey, have a good one, my man Adam. Good to see you again today, and thank you very much. You take quarterback. Make sure the army subscribes. D-line or O-line before safety. Hey, Jeremy, we do this every Friday till the draft. You got to get the votes in. What we're taking in each spot. This is just the way this mock has played out so far for the Eagles. We did take tackle, edge, wide receiver, all before safety in this draft. We have. This one has played out a certain way. Make sure you like and subscribe, Jeremy, so you can be here every single time we do these on Fridays. We go live every day, but we do the mock drafts on Friday, right up to the draft. So make sure you hit those buttons and are locked in. Today, I'm not picking, okay? You guys are picking today, okay? You guys are. This is part of the draft where you find hidden gems. So find me a hidden gem. Howie did Reed wrong. I don't know. I don't know why everyone, look, I love Reed Blankenship. I love the story of Reed Blankenship, okay? I do. But we all said all year long how average he was, and now here we are crying he's gone. Look, it is what it is. Jeremy, this is all everybody said for weeks and months and years in the chat on this show. And now they're upset he's gone? Look, I'm upset he's gone because we're weak at the position, because we got a gaping hole at the position. But I'm not getting upset over what he said. All right, so find me the next Tanner McKee at this spot of the draft. He was serviceable. He was okay, yeah. He was serviceable. He wasn't special, though. And maybe he is back on the Eagles. Who knows? Who knows? Now, this is the part of the draft where we just draft. So, let's go best available with this pick, and we'll go best available with the last pick. And then that's where our first mock draft ends up. Another wide receiver. Can't do that. We go another safety, I guess. A safety that has literally nothing written up on him. But that's or we could go with a quarterback. We need a quarterback, right? Who's the best quarterback that we want in this? Oh, we could take Drew Alar, Penn Stater. Everybody loves a Penn Stater. There we go. There's the Eagles mock draft. Mock draft 1.0 for the Eagles and trending in the AM. There is our mock draft for the Eagles, okay? That's how this one played out. Next week, it might play out differently. You're in Tokyo. Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's pretty awesome. We do this every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know what that. Tokyo, that's got to be what, like 12 hours? It's probably like 8 p.m. over there right now, 7 p.m. over there, 9 p.m., somewhere in that time frame. I think you can find a Blankenship level talent. I think we did find a Blankenship level talent with this mock was Zack Wheeler. I do. Jordan Mailata, another steal. Absolutely, you can. We just don't know these guys that well is what I meant. Blankenship is a liability in coverage. I agree with you on that, for sure. Started 2 Super Bowls, and you paid him undrafted free agent money for 4 years. I agree. Clearly, there's a reason why they did that, right? And clearly that's why he feels that the Texans are the first team that wanted him, right? Yeah, I just did that for the Penn Staters that love Penn State players, you know, joining. So there's lots of great examples of that. With all this talent, there are a few that had to go, but running back isn't top of my list. It was a nice story, but the range is just way less than ideal for Fangio's zone system. What? Oh, you're talking about, yeah, got it. We will get another safety. We will, of course. Your source told you us, yeah. My source, not going to say his name, he may be listening, was dead wrong on Blankenship last offseason. I give that draft a D+. I'm sorry, Phil. This isn't your best work. This isn't my work. This is your work. You guys chose these players. You can't grade me on this draft. You can't. I didn't make these selections. You guys did. 13 hours ahead. So it's 10. So it's 10:17 at night. Wow. That's crazy. I love it, though. I love it. Are you on vacation over there? You live over there? Are you in the military? What are you doing over there, Jeremy? In Japan. Got to re-sign Epps. He's better than Blankenship. I don't know if he's better than Blankenship, Marcus Epps. But what I think he is I think he will be better value for dollars spent. I think he'll be better than, it's not going to cost you $24 million to get Epps here. It's going to be a 1-year cheap prove-it deal. I think value-wise it's better, but that's about it. All right, let's take the shared screen off here. Put my pretty face back up on the screen. I don't hate the start of this draft. I honestly don't. I think we got good value. I don't think it's going to work well. I don't think it's a very realistic draft we ran today. But we'll see what next week brings. I'm going to save all these drafts. I'm going to save all these, and we're going to compare them every single week. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. But anyway, got about 10 minutes left in the show today. So make sure, if you have not, guys, you hit the like, share, subscribe button. What will be on tap the rest of this weekend? Probably not much from me. We'll be back on Monday for sure with another episode. But, yeah. Eagles did a lot of work for those that are coming in late. They did sign, Stone Cold Smartt as a 4th tight end. They did sign Dameon Pierce as a 4th running back yesterday. They reworked Jake Elliott's contract and guaranteed his money for this year. You live there. Oh, awesome. Central Jersey. Gotcha. If you took linebacker with your first pick in this draft, then it's not a great start. Look, we're playing it out. I didn't pick these picks. You guys picked them. Can't say when a guy that's great at the 6th best player in the draft falls to you. That's what happens with best available. Probably if Sonny Styles is available at 23, Howie's probably trading back to somebody that wants him really bad. Exit 8. I like that. Michael Carter is moving to safety. That's why Howie signed so many cornerbacks. Yeah, they started that process, Mister, moving Michael Carter to safety last year during practice and stuff like that during the week. So, yeah. Smartt and Pierce are nothing more than camp bodies. I agree. I think there is a pathway, for sure, for Pierce to make the team as a kick returner. We struggled at kick returning, and look, Where's my Dameon Pierce stats? There they are. Special teams. Where's special team stats on this page? In 2023, he averaged 32.1 yards per carry. In 2024, he averaged 37.7 yards per return, not carry. So I think there is a path for Pierce. There's pretty much no path for Smartt. It's more of a practice squad body. Thank you very much, Adam. Pushing. I'm trying to push through today. I'm doing my best when I feel not my best. Jake Elliott scares me. Obviously, Jake Elliott does not scare the Eagles because reworking his deal, they lowered his payment. Like instead of $6 million, he's making $5 million in 2026. But instead of only partially guaranteeing the $6 million, they fully guaranteed the $5 million. Saved them only like $250K in cap space, so it wasn't a cap move. So while everyone's scared of Jake Elliott, it doesn't seem like the Eagles are. So you gotta understand that. I don't know if everybody else is. Look, I get it. Missy Elliott, that is what he is known. He is also, let's not forget, it's not that long ago that we were thinking of Missy Elliott as the best kicker in Eagles history. If an undrafted free agent is starting for you for multiple years, you need to put some money in his pocket on principle. What Howie did was dishonorable. You also got to think it's a business. Football's a business. Sports is a business. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I feel it. The love in my heart for Reed Blankenship feels that. But anybody getting upset with Reed Blankenship says this is the counter to that. Good morning, Jonathan. How you doing? My answer to the poll is Sadiq. The tight end offense was bad last season. Needs a boost, and if AJ leaves. Yep. Heard that. I heard Ari Gomez move to safety. Who? Ari. I really thought we would give Rasul Douglas a shot at safety. He is the type of player. Yeah. Where's Rasul Douglas right there? Ringo moved to safety. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Michael Carter moving to safety is definitely happening. Keely Ringo is still on this Eagles roster, mainly because of special teams. But he won't play at cornerback next year. Look at the kicking numbers. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you on Jake Elliott. I'm just telling you what the Eagles think. By fully guaranteeing his 2026 contract, or 2026 money, tells me he isn't going anywhere. That's all I'm saying. Not disagreeing, just saying that the actions by the Eagles tell a different story. Elliott may be the best kicker in team history, but he ain't no more. I'm not disagreeing. Did you see Stubby taking yesterday and saying he loves the Phillies and wants to help them win? Oh, don't start the Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs stuff gets on my nerves. Can we just move on from Stubby? Stubby is not a good baseball player. No, Phil, we're men first. Business doesn't come before principles and fairness. I get that. Fairness. I think you're using the word fairness. You don't pay players for what they did. You pay players for what you expect them to do. Okay? But I get it. I get it. I understand it. And what I was saying was I understood why Reed Blankenship said what he said. I didn't disagree with that. I just disagree that we had to pay him just because of him putting 4 years of service in here. This is the year you can address kicker, and we'll know for sure if he is a true decline. When the hip starts to go, it goes at times. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the story tells me that Elliott is here next year. There's no doubt about that. But I, like everybody else, has my doubts. Yeah, how we help them get paid elsewhere. There you go. I like that way of looking at it, Jeremy. I do. Game planning is part of baseball. It is, yeah. I still don't understand the love of Garrett Stubbs. That's all I can say. I have no excessive love for Garrett Stubbs whatsoever. I don't need the vibes guy on my roster whatsoever. That's just me. 60% of the time, it works every time. That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. For instance, I think how Andy used up that running back from Rutgers is equally unethical. Who's the Rutgers running back? Which one was Rutgers? Unethical? I don't know. Every Oregon team has an overachiever that gets the short end of the stick and has to job hop to get market value. That's just the way of the world. Yeah, I think, again, I agree with what Reed Blankenship said. And I understand what he's saying. But yeah, basically what he said was that the Houston Texans are the first time he's felt wanted by an organization. Basically saying they're the only team that wanted to pay me big money for him. Ringo doesn't need salvation moving to safety. He needs removal from the team. If Howie's the best GM in the game, he simply drafts a top prospect for safety in place of Reed. Yep, I agree. That's what it's called, market value, not company ABC value. I agree. When you come to a fork in the road, yeah, you take the side that pays the most. Yeah. Houston was willing to pay. I'm sure the Eagles wanted to retain Reed Blankenship. I'm sure Reed and Howie spoke leading up to him signing with Houston. I'm sure Reed's agent said, look, we can get you a 3-year deal somewhere. Howie's offering 1 or 2 and a much less money. This is your chance to secure your bag. Howie doesn't see the same value as the rest of the league does, or Howie can't afford that value. And by that case, by the argument that the Eagles owed it to Reed to retain him, you could say the same thing about Nakobe Dean as well. You don't owe anything to anybody. It's just an exciting white. Yeah, exactly. It is. Unless he finds another, but I'm sure they'll keep doing the podcast just remotely together and not in the same room together. But I'm sure that the podcast will continue, right? At least at points of the off season going forward. Maybe not during the regular season all the time. But yeah, I'm sure they'll keep doing the podcast. Anyway, I got to wrap this up, guys. This is it. This is the end of the day for me. Time to go have a little breakfast, go take more meds, and hopefully power through this weekend and be ready to roll next week again, back to being somewhat healthy again. Who cares what Blanky said? It's dumb. If the Eagles didn't want him, then why? Yeah, exactly. I'm fine moving on from it. If and when Ringo goes, special teams may have a significant drop-off, especially punt coverage. Yeah, I agree. It's the only reason to keep them at this point, Nooms. Thank you very much, Adam. It's been a fun week. It's been a grind of a week. We'll keep pushing through. We'll be back next week with more content, though. I'm not saying they should have extended him. I'm saying when an undrafted free agent or 7th rounder, multi-year starter, put some money in his head. I get it, and I understand what you're saying. And what I'm saying is they probably did try, but the market paid more than the Eagles felt the value was there. They see him every day. The Houston only sees the highlights. So that's all I'm going at with that. Luckily, special teams is a dime a dozen. Dean was a 3rd rounder. He made some money. That's true. That's fair. It's a good counter to that. And Reed Blankenship made some money, just not the bigger money. Simply isn't so good. Simple as that. All year long, everybody talked about how Blankenship wasn't good enough. We got to upgrade that position. Now he's gone and he makes some comments. Now everybody's upset. It is what it is. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Like, share, subscribe if you have not, guys. We'll be back next week with more episodes of Trending in the AM every day. But till then, guys, everybody have a great weekend. It's going to be nice out. Go Birds and bubbles up.